Hi, folks. My name's Tom. You're watching Rant District. March has been a weird month. Not a good one in a lot of ways, but did find it to be a little bit interesting for me music wise. I'm usually the type of person that is not a multitasker when it comes to entertainment. Like if I'm watching something on TV or watching a movie, I'm doing that. I'm not on my phone while doing that. If I'm listening to music, I'm generally just doing that. Or if I'm reading a book, something's weird because I don't often read a book as often as I should. But I found an interesting combination. I had started earlier in the month reading a book, Hail Mary by Andy Weir. So on Friday, May 20th, this movie comes out. I'm going to go see it on Monday, but I finished reading the book. So I'm a very slow reader when I read, and I don't often read fiction. A lot of what I read is just I read about music, I read about sports, but it's not really a lot about fiction. But this was an outstanding book. I wanted to make sure, and I can be a slow reader. I wanted to make sure I was done with the book in time to watch the movie. And just as a side note, the preview for this movie has come out a couple of times. It has come out on the screen when I've been watching, getting ready to watch a different movie in the theater, and I just kind of usually I have a hat on, and I'm just pull the brim down. I'll listen to the preview, but I won't watch it because there's an alien character in there that I have an idea in my mind what the character looks like, and I didn't want to spoil that until I see the movie. I got a history of in the past reading books and then seeing how the movie was made out of it, and the movie just kind of bastardizes what I had in my head. But I want to just kind of preserve this until I see the movie. Hopefully, it works out. So I wanted to finish the book, and I make myself no matter how tired I am, I'd make an effort to read a chapter a night. And kind of coinciding with waiting for just trying to get done with the rest of the book. Had a bunch of records arrive. It was a 6-pack bundle from the Black Editions label. I think it's maybe an LA area. Don't quote me on that. Area label that's usually putting out older Japanese music. So there's a label that was in Tokyo. I'm going to read my note here. It's called La Musica Records. I know they put out about 200 CDs. It's like cassettes and CDRs. And it was mostly stuff that was shown at shows, just kind of documenting the 90s and sort of underground Tokyo vibe as far as mostly psych music goes. So this is the first time, essentially, that this music's been on vinyl. I'd have bought the cassette or the CDR if I could find it in general on these things, but generally it's not stuff you're going to find. So anyway, I'm going to show you what I picked up. Oh, what's my point in all of this? The music is largely non-vocal. There's vocals in them here and there, but the vocals are very subdued. This is kind of a, how should I describe it? Well, the records are all a little bit different, but it's like psych, it's kind of ambient. And it was the first time that, and this wasn't on purpose, I just decided, let me just put on some headphones, listen to the music while I'm reading a chapter. And just the music has quite often a darkness and a mystery to it that just fit the remaining chapters in the book that I was reading. So it made this great pairing, the music and the book. And that's not something I've ever had happen to me before. And I made a point of just putting one of these records on as I'm reading a chapter. After I just kind of luckily it's that's your peanut butter, my chocolate. Oh, it's your chocolate, my peanut butter. Oh shit, that works. This just worked. So anyway, just going to show the music, and it's the nice thing about Black Editions and a lot of smaller run labels is these 6 albums bought as a bundle. I think they were $20 a piece. Yeah, it was $120 for 6 of them. I think you can still buy them for $25 each if you just want an individual album. And at that price, and I think it was $10 shipping. It wasn't anything ridiculous from the United States to me in the United States. But the records are all nothing's warped. Nothing's got pops or clicks that don't belong there. It's just properly pressed, good quality records. it's kind of what it should be, and not always what you get from some of the extended pinky versions of records. So anyway, this first record is called Solid Static. Oh, so essentially these 6 records are the first time on wax versions of a bunch of these La Musica recordings. So this first one is by Musica Transonic and Mainliner. It's called Solid Static. Now all these record covers are similar in there. I guess I would have called these a unipack, but it's got the die cut there, and you open it up, and that's what it looks like on the inside, and then the pocket in here is where the record goes. So they all kind of look like this. There's the back of this record, and I'll intersperse clips. It's kind of, this one's, I don't know, kind of like just regular, it's fairly well straight up psych. The drumming by Tatsuya Yoshida. The drumming is great on this. You might want to sample this online. So plenty of distortion. It's psych. It's from like late 70s. Here's a clip. So the next album is called Rotting Tapes 2 by Rotting Telepathies. It's basically a documentation of a live performance from 1982, I think it was. One of the players, Nanjo Asahito, on bass. I'm pretty sure he was one of the founders in the band High Rise, which was a killer Japanese psych band. Kind of noise, post-punkish, so not quite psych, but excellent recording. Here's a clip. And the labels all kind of look the same on these records from the Rotting Tapes 2 title. Just to give you an idea, that's what the label looks like. They're all pretty similar design. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Next record is called One by Biblioteca Hermetica. There you go, a 1996 recording. Recorded in 1996 by Nanjo Asahito, one of the founders from High Rise, unless I'm totally botching that. Kind of not quite ambient, but atmospheric, sort of an atmospheric noise record that I dug, and again, just fit with the book. The book is kind of happening mostly in outer space, the darkness of space, the mystery and the heaviness of the situation they're dealing with. Man, these records just kind of fit. Have a listen. This next one is kind of funny. It's Doodah Neen by the band Neen, which is, I believe, an all-female trio. This one, it's got, it's from the mid-90s, I think. I'm pretty sure that is not anybody who's in the band. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't know who that picture is. Kind of reminds me of Susan Day a little bit. It kind of like trance-like drumming, and then just kind of moans. I guess it's like it doesn't sound like a full-on orgasm, but it sounds like the longest orgasm you ever heard. It's kind of described as Lolita psychedelia. It's trippy. but it worked for my purposes. Have a listen. All right, now we got M by Nanjo Asahito. I think this is a solo record, if I recall. Recorded live in 1989. Pretty sure it's a solo record. It's kind of, if I recall, like the vocals are kind of set back, but it's kind of spooky, it's like spooky and gentle at the same time. And given like the latter portions, particularly of this book, Hail Mary, Project Hail Mary anyway, by Andy Weir. It was a great read. It really fit, like gentle and spooky. That describes a lot of the vibe I got from the movie. So this one worked really well. Have a listen. This last one is called Black Tape 2 by Okami no Jinkin, I believe. I apologize if I'm butchering that and you know better, and I bet a lot of you do. This one was recorded in 1992, mastered in 96. That took a while. So mid-90s release. Kind of, not even sure what that cover picture is. I don't know. Anyway, kind of like a dreamy psych, I guess, if I would call it that. Have a listen. There you go. It was just by chance that I happened to put on headphones to give a first listen to these records, and while I was also trying to read a chapter of the book, which, and again, I usually don't multitask, but this might be, I've got like a few, I call them ambient pieces of music in my collection, mostly on CD. This kind of just opens up a world where, maybe I would read more if I kind of pair the music and the mood of the music with maybe the mood of the book. That might be a thing. Whatever gets me to read more is going to be a good thing. And again, just so refreshing to get like records that sound good, that are not like doing this on the turntable as a brand new record for relatively cheap. In my case, with the shipping, these probably worked out to under $22 a record. But like, if you just buy an individual record, $25. Black Edition, if you look up Black Edition's Bandcamp, it's an interesting label for a lot of underground Japanese music. Give a listen, man. I think it's a really interesting label if you're into that sort of thing. Blah blah blah. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.